So we're here with Erik Wolpaw, writer on Portal 2 by our friends at Valve. So, first question, having to do with co-op, one of the big announcements today. The first Portal game had a real sense of kind of isolation, solitude. How do you think adding co-op changes that experience?
Well, since it's its own separate sort of component, you know, the single-player game still exists, and you'll get your fill of solitude in that. But the co-op is, like it says, it's co-op. It's a whole different thing with the co-op puzzle solving. But even though the first one was a solitary experience, at least fictionally, what we discovered anecdotally, both from people who worked at Valve and people who told us about it playing Portal later, was that a lot of people played it cooperatively. They'd play it with their girlfriend, or they'd play it with their kids, and somebody would, you know, they'd be like, put a portal here, put a portal there, and they would actually play it cooperatively. So this isn't actually that different than how a lot of people experience Portal 1, except we've sort of formalized it now so that you actually have, you know, a true co-op experience.
Mm-hmm. And could you explain the co-op characters? This isn't the Portal protagonist.
No, they're two robots who fictionally work into the single-player game in ways that you'll see when you play the single-player game. But they're their own two characters.
I imagine also sort of helps with the, you know, that kind of feeling of solitude. They're not people.
Yeah, they're not people, and which is why they can sort of die over and over again and be rebuilt.
Well, there you go. So now you have a narrative to explain that lovely video game
Yes.
occurrence.
Yeah.
So the game is coming out 3 years after Portal 1.
Is that right? Yeah, 2011.
Right.
I think that's right.
It'll be like three plus, three and
3
change.
years. Yeah.
And Portal 1 was a relatively short, simple game. And then we had a game like Left 4 Dead out of Valve, the same studio, that had really kind of major, huge game a year later. You know, what's the difference in philosophies behind these two games? How Valve was able or wanted to kind of turn one around very quickly, and then one took 3 years of kind of thinking or planning or developing.
Well, I mean, we're not a huge company, so you know, I worked on Left 4 Dead. A lot of the Portal team worked on the Left 4 Dead, so there's been a lot of cross work done.
Permeability.
Yeah. So it hasn't been 3 full years of the entire team working on Portal 2. So we've been taking our time a little bit with it.
Half-Life or Portal 1 took place in the Half-Life universe somewhere. Mm-hmm. There was little hints about it. Is that something that is more focal or more centralized in Portal 2? I
don't want to really give away too much, but it's still there. The connection to the Half-Life universe is still there.
Here's a kind of question I'm sure you guys have gotten a lot. How long was it before you guys got annoyed by the cake is a lie references? Was it really immediate because you'd probably had it internally, or?
Well, it's weird. We didn't really have it because if you think about it, it wasn't. We didn't push it in the game that much. It's there a couple of times. We talked about the cake, and I think the cake is a lie. I don't know. Is it in there once? Maybe
it's scribbled on a wall.
Yeah, and it sort of caught on afterwards. Mm-hmm. People talked about cake because there's a lot of lines about the cake, but the actual cake is a lie thing. That particular piece would become this sort of meme took us by surprise. But yeah, eventually you get.
Like with any good internet meme.
Yeah, you just want to retire it at some point.
So are you saying that we will not have the cake is a lie in Portal 2?
I think we will try to avoid as much cake as possible.
Well, what was the fan response to retrofitting the last scene of the first game? You guys did this kind of.
It was actually, and this is going to sound like I'm lying, but it was, for something on the internet, it was like 100% positive. It was, people enjoyed it. People just got it. It wasn't like changing the end of Star Wars or whatever George Lucas was doing. Nobody felt like we ruined it. And honestly, it was a piece that we'd sort of had in mind all along, or I had. That party escort bot, I always had this story in my mind that he'd been following you around like the whole end of the game, and it was kind of his big moment to shine when you finally actually assume the party escort submission position at the end by passing out, and he could, kind of drag you back in. So it was something we'd considered as part of the ending of Portal 1 originally, and we just thought, let's not do it now. We can worry about it later if we get a chance to make a sequel.
But that's canonical, if you will. I mean, that update's permanent. It's staying on that game, and that's
It's canonical.
And
it is canon.
It's weird to think about Portal and canon. Like
Yeah,
it is some
there's
kind of
Portal
Star
canon
Wars.
now. Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Glitches. We have a co-op game, and it's a game with, kind of gameplay system. What are some strange glitches or strange kind of bugs you guys have encountered playing with 2 players, with 2 portal guns, and weird things that you guys have obviously had to design around or make limitations around?
Did we talk about the human versus robot thing? I think we did. We started out with human characters just as tests, and we quickly discovered that it kind of lessened the impact of the single-player game if you're humans who can die and just respawn all the time. So we switched it over to robots to kind of get around that problem, and also because dying is kind of a big part of the co-op, so the robots can die in a lot more interesting ways that aren't gruesome or grim.
Keeping that T rating.
Yeah. Well, it's just not the kind of mood we want to set. Yeah, it's not the tone of Portal.
Were there concerns that continuing the story would cheapen the impact of the first game? I know a lot of people thought the first game was kind of a perfect nugget.
I mean, I guess there's always that. You know, as a writer, you're always just concerned in general and anxious about everything. So there are concerns, but I think we're doing a good job, making it a worthy sequel. Stand on its own.
Kim Swift was, I think, lead designer. Maybe was her title on Portal 1, but she was considered, to kind of be the driving force behind the game based on a student project, etc. She left Valve, I guess, several months ago now. How much participation, how much work had she put into Portal 2? And, has her departure affected the development at all? Has it affected any kind of focus or direction for the game?
No, actually, Kim, everybody at Valve gets to work on whatever they want to work on. I mean, think about it, the Portal, call them kids because they were really young at the time. They'd spent about a third of their life basically making Portal. So, some went on to Portal 2, some went on to Left 4 Dead, and Kim was on Left 4 Dead. And so, she made the decision to leave, and, we wish her all the best, but it didn't change any development.
Portal 2 was
it was already a going concern, yeah.
And how about the PlayStation 3 news that you guys announced today? That Portal 2 is coming to PlayStation 3. The first one was only on Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Technically it was on the PS3.
It was on the PS3 in the orange box, right? I was thinking of the Still Alive.
Xbox that one was only Xbox.
So Portal 2 coming to the PS3, but it's coming to the PS3 with Steamworks, which is a kind of really big change for you guys. Can you explain a little bit about what that?
There's a note coming through the door
about what that means.
It says
they want you to call them when you're done.
All right.
And grab a cold beverage with them.
Okay.
It's awfully thoughtful.
That's nice.
They didn't want to just leave you dry.
Yeah. I don't know where the tap house is. I guess I'll have to call them.
I'm sure there's only one in LA, so you'll be all right.
All right.
So PlayStation 3, Steamworks support. What does that mean? What does that get Valve? What does that get PlayStation 3 owners?
The big thing is they'll be able to get updates sort of day and date with the PC and the Mac. If we were to do a Team Fortress type game where we've done, I don't know, is it 121 updates? You would actually get all 121 updates at the same time.
121.
I think, we did a big 119th update celebration recently, but I think we've done a couple since then because Valve time we missed the 100th celebration, so we kind of had to push it to 119. But so that's a huge thing to be able to update the games. We could put, for instance, the way we updated the ending of Portal 1. We didn't do it on the Xbox because we just didn't, it didn't work into the time frame that we needed to actually get it through cert and everything. And we're going to be able to do that on the PlayStation. We would be able to do something just like that.
And then, other features. I think they said Steamworks would be something, all those other Steam elements.
Some of that, the actual details of that is a better question for Doug. I'm a little bit fuzzy on exactly what pieces are going in.
And from a technological perspective, I know there was a lot of complaints about Orange Box on PS3, and it was kind of in line with Gabe's very public comments about PlayStation 3 as a development platform. Now that you guys are kind of handling this internally, does that make the PS3 a first-class citizen in Valve's kind of
definitely.
development.
Yeah. We've got a bunch of good engineers working on our version of the Source engine for PS3.
Cool. Well,
right.
very exciting news, and
Thanks.
congratulations with the game.
Thanks a lot. Coming out in October in 2011. And October means
You heard
nothing.
that here first.
Yeah, it
October.
means October means nothing. I don't even know why that came out. I was thinking Tap House, which made me think Rocktober for some reason.
Oktoberfest?
Yeah, Oktoberfest. Hey, October, honest to God, means absolutely nothing.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks a lot.